there, welcome to Tarotland Soap Opera. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Capricorn, and I'm shuffling the Shadow Oracle deck, and I saw that a card flipped over, and the card that flipped over is Narrow Minded in reverse. And the other two cards that wanted to come out was Unforgiveness and Lack of Boundaries. You might know some people who are like that. You're maybe not narrow minded. Some people could be coming out of being narrow-minded about these type of things. You know, the lack of boundaries, where people don't have good boundaries within themselves, and then other people can kind of manipulate and control them because they do lack boundaries. Maybe some people don't see it or weren't seeing it. You could be cutting some people out of your life who are narrow-minded. You might have some unforgiveness towards them because they lack good boundaries within themselves. And the whole reason all of those came out is comparisonitis. So people who are just so wrapped up in consuming themselves to other people than really nurturing and valuing themselves. So anyway, we're going to do two rows for Capricorn. The top row is going to be what people who harness high vibe Capricorn energy are doing. They're being probably bold and brave and loving themselves, tempering their pride, their ego, not being narrow-minded, realizing that everybody's at different places in life. We've all got different lessons to learn. And the shadow nature is going to be the bottom row. It could be your own shadow nature that you're rejecting. Maybe you have unforgiveness for your shadowy nature that doesn't have good boundaries, that wants you to compare yourself to everyone else. You know, we have to learn to overcome our shadow nature so that, because otherwise we'll have kind of shadowy people come into our life to try to make us see life differently. They don't know that's why they come into our life, but I think that's what the divine's plan is. That if we have lessons to learn, we'll have people come into our life to try to teach us the lessons we need to learn. That if we've been narrow-minded, if we've been unforgiving, if we've lacked boundaries, and we weren't offering ourselves compassion and forgiveness and be willing to grow and mature ourselves, we're going to have people come into our life to make us realize we need to do that, or we're going to be stuck in a little bit of hell with them. And if some Capricorn people had been around some narrow-minded people, it could have been to learn to have better boundaries within themselves. So anyway, we're going to look at this from a couple different perspectives, because people can harness high vibe Capricorn energy, which is talks about freeing yourself from the devil. And the devil represents shadowy Capricorn energy, where we put so much work and effort being consumed by the world, comparisonitis, that sometimes, we don't treat ourselves with love. We can reject loving people in our life because we get so narrowly focused on making our life all about the world. So in the top row, we have the Nine of Wands, the Nine of Swords, which if you get to the 10, if you're putting in the work and effort within yourself, you can complete a cycle to have a brand new beginning and see the truth. And some high vibe Capricorns right now in the Emperor energy, because of the Page of Wands, it's kind of like they're loving their inner child nature that has hope and faith and belief in their dreams. And they're not letting one aspect of themselves run their life. They're taking all aspects of themselves into consideration. I have an emotional, spiritual nature to me. I do have aspirations in my life. I, can use my emotions and my mind and my creativity and how I take action in my 3D world to bring my dreams into reality. The Emperor is making decisions, whether you're male or female, making decisions, taking your heart, your mind, your emotions, the aspects of your 3D life and what you want to manifest into reality. You're taking it all into consideration, not just letting your heart run your life, not just letting your mind run your life. Why? Because in the Nine of Wands, you could have felt wounded and hurt because Well, down here we have the Fool, the Seven of Wands, the Two of Cups, and the Devil. Because of the King of Wands, you could have been letting your want for worldliness kind of dictate your life, or being defensive to love dictate your life before, because of being afraid of being hurt, because you've been wounded before. You could have been stressed about love and trusting other people. But when you lived your life not loving yourself, because the Fool is like moving away from standing up and defending yourself, and instead could have been defensive to moving forward in the energy of love, loving yourself, believing in yourself, tempering your fears, your insecurities. And because of that, we can have shadowy people come into our life. I think that's how the world is set up. You know, if we haven't learned to love and believe in ourselves and speak our truth and love ourselves, it's kind of what we're manifesting, is that exact same type of energy to come into our life. When we learn to love and believe in ourselves and have good boundaries within ourselves to fight for what we believe in our dreams, love ourselves, then we're no longer going to let shadowy people try to manipulate us, control us, get us caught up in our fear, our insecurity, our pride and ego, because we've learned how to love ourselves. And we're not letting other people who we might be attracted to, either because they have money and status and image, because Capricorns are sign energy and it's all about the things of the world, but it can be addiction. The King of Wands can be about getting caught up in our lust and our greed and, you know, kind of indulging ourselves. The Fool can be about being foolish, and we keep repeating the same patterns. Why would we keep repeating the same patterns of relationship? Because in the Seven of Wands, we're defensive to the Two of Cups. Why? Because we'd have to face some of our fears and insecurities and self-limiting beliefs and heal and love ourselves and believe in ourselves. And the Devil energy, our own fear and insecurity and our pride and our ego and all those things, stop us. And if we don't learn to overcome that and get better discipline within ourselves, we're going to have our King of Wands nature. Both the King of Wands and the Fool card are our Aries nature, which can be, I just want to indulge in the world. I don't want to work and through my fears and insecurities. I don't want to have to learn how to love and believe in myself. I just want to go indulge in the world in whatever that means. You know, I just don't want to deal with it. But when we do that, it kind of puts us in a little bit of hell. You know, we could know that we're not acting with character and integrity. We know that I guess it was the King of Wands' reason. Was that the reason for the reading, or was it the Devil? I kind of think it was set up like this. Either way, that's how it ended, so that must be the way it's supposed to be. You know, the Nine of Cups is the reason for the reading for the top row. The Nine of Cups is harnessing Pisces energy, which is water sign energy, which is connecting in with our emotions and our intuition to guide us. You know, the King of Wands, if we let our King of Wands nature run our life, is being fired up about things and taking action on being fired up about things. It could be, I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm angry. I want to take action towards that. My ego's kicked up, my lust is kicked up, my greed is kicked up, my insecurity's kicked up. You know, if we let our fiery nature dictate our life, it's anything that fires us up, and fire can burn things down, right? We can act too impulsively because we haven't, in the Nine of Wands, maybe learned to discipline ourselves. Sagittarius energy of the Nine of Wands is about higher learning and education, being bold and brave and confident, but in a disciplined manner where we're making good decisions in our life from a place of love. Are we? And the Emperor is about making decisions that are best for everyone involved. The Emperor is also Aries energy. Shadowy Aries energy is about, it's all about me, my wants, my needs, my lust, my greed, my pride, my ego. I'm mad, I'm sad. Me. And that's not very loving. The Nine of Swords can be up in their head about love. There's a maximum of 10 in each suit. If you're a maximum of 10 up in your head, this one's a 9, but if you were at the 10, you know, if you're only at 9 up in your head, that means you only have one cup of love in your heart. And sometimes you might have known some people that harness shadowy Aries energy, regardless of what zodiac sign they are. We can all harness these energies in a high vibe way or a low vibe way. And to be at peace and balance within yourself, you know, we learn lessons about harnessing our emotions, harnessing our heart, harnessing our thoughts, harnessing our lust, you know? And then we're in the middle of all of them, and we know how to use all the different traits and characteristics of all the zodiac signs, how to make decisions from our heart, our mind, you know? Some you might have known some people who haven't learned to do that, and you could have gotten wounded. It could have been someone who wanted to indulge in a relationship with you for their own wants, their own needs, their own ego, their own pride, their own whatever reasons they had. I'm competitive, I'm prideful, I'm egotistical, I'm lustful, I'm greedy, I'm immature. I want you to indulge me in a relationship. And that's kind of how our shadow nature is within us. Indulge me. No, no, let's do this. I want this. You know, it's kind of like our little immature Page of Wands, which is fire sign energy too, saying, come on, let's not have good boundaries. Let's not think about love. Let's indulge ourselves. Well, when we indulge ourselves and we don't ever grow up and mature ourselves, we keep repeating the same like mistakes over and over, getting in the same type of relationships, getting in the same type of jobs, taking kind of our buttons being pushed by the same old things over and over. And we're never defending our more loving nature. We just kind of let our fiery nature run our life. You know, we have to take in Leo energy of the Seven of Wands, we have to take bold, brave, creative action to get out of our ego nature or letting our more impulsive, indulgent, me nature run our life if we want to be in loving relationships. We have to be willing to face our fears and insecurities and kind of offer love to our worldly nature, to love ourselves, to temper our fears, temper our insecurities, temper our ego, temper our lust and our greed and our more immature ways if we want to have wish fulfillment, which is learning how to fill your own cup. Either some Capricorns or other people they dealt with in the world don't know how to fill their own cup emotionally. They could use sexuality because the wands can be about that too. I want to feel loved. I don't know how to love myself. I'm going to go try to have intimate relationships with someone that'll fill my cup emotionally. Well, it's like a short-term fix, you know, and that's what the devil's about. It's like shallow victories, and it makes us codependent on other people. I don't know how to make myself feel better. I'm going to go get in a relationship to make myself feel better. I don't know how to love and believe in myself. I'm going to go get in a relationship with someone to try to make me feel better. And it's also putting the responsibility on other people. And sometimes then people who are kind of shadowy, if they take a risk to get in a relationship, they're kind of defending that relationship because of their fear and their insecurity and their codependency and their ego and their lust and their greed. But then if their shadowy things start to bubble back up to the surface, guess whose fault it is? The person who they went to go get in a relationship with, because they never took responsibility for dealing with those issues within themselves. They got in a relationship with someone, that person was supposed to make them feel better. And we can't get rid of other people's issues. We can be loving, we can be encouraging, we can be supportive, all those things, but if they don't put in the work and effort to deal with those issues within themselves, to come to balance between, you know, the devil can be the things that vex us, you know, that can cause us to act in emotionally defensive, self-centered, prideful, egotistical, immature ways. And until we take some creative action to be bold and brave, to say, I'm going to take some creative action to decide to love myself and work through my fears and insecurities. If they don't ever take responsibility for that, and they make it other people's responsibility, well, if their issues bubble up, guess what they're going to do? It's like, oh, I need to go find someone else. This buzz wore off. My issues came back. I need to go find someone else. Someone else is the fix. Who is it? Who is it? What is it? Is it the drugs? Is it the booze? You know, it's always looking for something outside of themselves to be the answer instead of realizing the answer lies within us. Only we can heal from our past pain and heartbreak. Other people can love and encourage us and support us, but we have to do that healing and see the truth of our past pain and heartbreak, our fear, our insecurities, our laziness, our egotistical ways of being, our immature ways of being. You know, people can talk to us till we're blue in the face, but until we do that work within ourselves, people just keep talking till they're blue in the face. And some high vibe Capricorns might have known someone like that who does maybe have a lot of issues they need to work through, but they don't want to deal with them. It's like, nope. If you want me, some people, shadowy fires. Well, and again, it doesn't. Whoops. It doesn't matter what zodiac sign you are. We can all get caught up in this kind of energy. So don't get caught up in like Aries energy or Capricorn energy or Leo or whatever. If there's people in your life who you know are defensive to love, who maybe like to indulge in relationships, who like other people to indulge them in relationships, maybe where they think they're the boss, it should be all about them. You know, it's what their wants and needs and all those things and their feelings and all those things take precedence. And they try to stop you maybe from believing in yourself, and they could do things in a relationship, doing foolish, impulsive, reckless things in a relationship that are hurtful, that are unkind or unloving. And it makes you defensive when you're in a relationship with them because it's like, wait a minute, I thought this was supposed to be about love, but you seem to be more about yourself. You seem to be defensive to love. You seem to have a lot of issues about being loving. You seem to want it to be all about indulging yourself. And if some high vibe Capricorns dealt with some people like that, you know, if we're willing to be our more vulnerable, authentic self in a relationship, other people shouldn't abuse that. They should respect that you're being truthful and honest and loving and just and fair and kind and loyal and committed, and you're making good decisions in the relationship. That would be an unjust, unfair relationship. If you're making good decisions and they seem to think they can do whatever the hell they want, well, Capricorn learned that they needed to have some good boundaries. And just because, you know, the devil and the king of wands can mean we're attracted to people, you know, it seemed to have the things of the world that we wanted. We took a risk to get in that relationship. We wanted to defend that relationship. We wanted that dream to come into reality. But at what price? Are we willing to sell our soul to the devil to have those things? That lust, that relationship, that whatever? And maybe the whole reason Capricorn came into relationship with some people like that was to learn that they need to protect their more loving, vulnerable nature from people in the world who can want to abuse that for their own selfish, greedy, prideful, competitive, manipulative ways. And it's kind of like your inner child was telling you, let's make a decision to harness high vibe King of Wands energy and get ourselves out of this situation because I feel wounded, I'm stressed, I'm anxious. I don't know if this person loves me. I might think I love them, but that's part of a lesson in life, is to learn that we can love people and not be in a relationship with them, to love people and not communicate with them anymore, to love people and decide that we're going to put up good boundaries between us and them because we've given a lot of thought to what is loving and what isn't loving. And we might realize that we're in a relationship with someone who's harnesses very immature energy. They have a lot of growing up to do. They got a lot of life lessons to learn about what it means to be in a relationship. Because everybody has their own philosophy of what it means to be in a relationship, and some people have the idea, I get to be immature and foolish. People are supposed to want to be in a relationship with me because maybe I have money, maybe I'm good looking, maybe whatever it is they think they got. They could think that other people are just supposed to be willing to indulge them in a relationship. And that's how they view relationships, where they think they can be bossy and controlling and forceful or abusive or selfish or greedy. You know? I mean, people wouldn't act that way if they didn't think everything we do, we think we justify. There's people out in the world killing and murdering and doing all sorts of wretched things in the world. Our base human nature can be beastly if we don't have good boundaries within ourselves, if we don't have some adherence to a higher truth and a higher justice, to have good discipline within ourselves. And you could have found out some people completely lack boundaries. They totally indulge their more immature nature. They're more selfish, greedy, prideful, egotistical, all about themselves nature. And you realized you needed to turn your back on them, and you needed to take some creative action to deal with your own fears and insecurities or codependencies, or letting your more worldly nature or lustful nature drive your life. And you realized you had to make a good decision in your life. And the next card is the Lover's card. I choose love. And the Knight of Wands, high vibe Sagittarius. I'm going to look at life as an adventure to be lived. And Sagittarius energy is also about educating yourself, wrapping your brain around this game of life. That there can be a lot of things in the world I'm attracted to. We all want for stability and security and to be in relationships with people we're attracted to, but are we letting those things of the world take more precedence in our life than maintaining balance within ourselves and maintaining balance in relationships where people are treating each other in a just and fair manner, treating other people the way we like to be treated? Is it love? Or is it lust? Is it greed? Is it pride? Is it ego? Is it codependency? And some high vibe Capricorns decided to do the work, to go through all their thoughts, to figure out, why would I let myself stay in relationships or living my life in a way that seems to, the devil talks about feeling imprisoned, feeling enslaved, feeling oppressed, feeling confined and limited. And if it's not another person, it's just your own fear and insecurity, or your own shadow nature, your mind, maybe being too much attached to the world in the devil card, making your life too much about that, than making your life and being worried and stressed out about those things of the world. Will people view me in a certain way? Will people view me as being a very successful person? Because the emperor would be someone who really kind of runs a kingdom instead of, and some people could have gotten all consumed with that, and their inner child is like, I don't think this is getting me what I want. And some high vibe Capricorns listen to their more loving, bold, brave, confident nature to say, the things of the world aren't the only things. They're causing me all the stress, anxiety. I was pursuing them hoping they would make me feel at peace or would bring me wish fulfillment. Things can only bring us things, We can have all the money in the world and all the clothes in the world and blah, 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 blah. And we can still not, we can be stressed and anxious and still not be operating from a place of love and feeling at peace within ourselves. And feeling at peace within yourself is priceless. And we're emotionally complex human beings. To think that we can make our life ambition to be all about the world, these are the most important things. The things of the world are meant to be enjoyed from a place of love, not a place of fear and insecurity and ego and status and image driving our decisions. We're not meant to get in relationships with other people because of those reasons. We're emotionally complex human beings. To think that we can ignore that and make our life and our relationships all about, I want to indulge in the world. I want to make it like I look like a boss. I want to make it all about the things of the world, and thinking you could not make it about love or loving yourself. I think it's going to feel like a hollow life. So tell us about the Lover's card and the Knight of Wands. Some people could have been in a relationship that they were very passionate about. It seemed to have everything that the world would say you should want, but some people are finding themselves very stressed out because maybe this bottom row could be their partner. And maybe the person they thought they were going to have a dream come into reality with is kind of foolish and defensive. When I asked about the Lovers and the Knight of Wands, we got the Strength card in reverse, the Eight of Pentacles in reverse, and the Page of Cups in reverse because of the Five of Pentacles in reverse. Some people are letting go of an old way of thinking or believing in life. If some of those people had other people in their life that were trying to keep them kind of more in their shadowy nature, maybe trying to appeal to their lust, their greed, their fear, their insecurity, not loving and believing in themselves, some high vibe Capricorns are saying no. If they had some people that were wanting, that they had been investing in emotionally because they were afraid of detaching from those people, because when we detach from some other people in our life, we go through a period of feeling left out in the cold. And sometimes some people aren't willing to face that feeling even. If some people say don't want to move away from their family, or they don't want to move away from their hometown because going someplace new, you're going to feel a little left out in the cold because you don't have all those things that you're used to around you. And that alone can keep some people emotionally investing in living life the way they had been, which is where they might operate more from emotionally defensive nature in the Leo card. They might focus more on money and materialism and status and image and hope that everything will be okay. But like their inner child is like, could we move forward, please? And they're like, no, no, I don't want to do that. I feel left out in the cold. I don't want to face that. And then other people have been in relationships and they've been investing in a relationship with people who kind of align with their more shadowy ego energy. Could be a little prideful, a little manipulative, a little self-centered. And they could have been trying to put work and effort to get other people to move forward in the energy of love with them. And the other people keep turning their back. Nope. I like it like this. Let's stay right here. And some high vibe Capricorns are like, nope, I'm going to quit putting in work and effort with you. I'm going to quit emotionally investing in you because I'm tired of feeling left out in the cold. People are either willing to work with us in the energy of love, and they either have that creative spark within them to want to grow and mature themselves, to step out of their comfort zone. And there's some people who are like, no, I don't. I want to stay right where I'm at. I'm good. I don't want to detach from my old ways of being. I don't want to detach from other people in my life. I don't want to learn lessons in life. I don't want to grow and mature myself. I like doing things the way I do it, and I'd rather be in stress and anxiety and be defensive than face the unknown. I am unwilling. In order to move forward in our life, we have to be willing to see the truth. And the Virgo energy talks about putting in the work and effort to gain insight and understanding about why we have turned our back to putting in work and effort to move forward in our life. What don't we want to see the truth about? Some people don't want to see the truth that they do think they should be able to be bossy and controlling in relationships. They don't want to acknowledge the truth that they could be very selfish or greedy or materialistic. They'd rather stay in denial of those things. And some high vibe Capricorns are realizing this truth that if they don't make a decision to love themselves and let go of this way of being within themselves or other people in their life and quit emotionally investing in those people, they're not going to be going anywhere either. And, life will just keep being exactly the way it was. Some people aren't inspired to deal with their past pain and heartbreak or their self-limiting beliefs. They just want to, we either move forward in truth and love, or we want to stay in denial of the truth. Denial of the truth that we are supposed to keep growing and maturing ourselves throughout our life. We're meant to shed layers of our more worldly, beastly, self-centered, immature, indulgent, prideful, egotistical nature. We're supposed to grow to our full potential. We're supposed to continue to evolve and grow, just like the divine has a universe ever expanding, has everything trying to grow to the next level. And some people get to a certain level in life and they're like, look, I've got the money and the status and image. I should be able, or I'm good looking. I should be able to be bossy and controlling in a relationship. People should want to be in a relationship with me because of these things. Or I'm just prideful and egotistical and self-centered, and I don't think I have to grow and mature myself. That kind of makes me think of that Bible verse that it'd be easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than for a rich person to get into heaven, because they are so kind of caught up with their own, what is the word, self, kind of like feeling they're so accomplished within themselves, like it's all magically just because of them. The whole thing is the divine can take away those things in the world just like that. Major stock market, major hurricane, major flood, fire, that's us being caught up in our pride and ego and not realizing there's something larger at play in the universe than what we can see. And some people have a very worldly nature and they don't believe that there's any higher truth or justice to aspire to than apparently what the world says or what they say. And if they say something is just and fair, I guess the people they're in a relationship with are supposed to think things are just and fair. Like communist China, you're not supposed to believe in any higher truth or justice than what these people who you get in a relationship with think you deserve. So tell us about the Nine of Cups for high vibe Capricorn. Oh, and the bottom, the reason for the reading is also why the reading came out. And the Nine of Cups talks about having a dream that you thought would be wish fulfillment. And you could have taken a leap of faith and gotten in a relationship, maybe communicated with someone, and it seemed like things were moving forward victoriously. You could have been really focused on love. The other person could have been more in their ego. This makes me look victorious and successful. Both of you could have been defending this relationship until it got to where people had to kind of detach from the past or old ways of being and take more bold, brave, confident action, which would require them to face their fears and insecurities. And that's when they're more shadowy. They could have presented themselves like you, as harnessing like high vibe Capricorn, high vibe Aries, but then they're more immature Aries, because that's a King of Wands, is not an emperor. They're both Aries energy, but one has more growing and learning to do than the other. They might be very successful in the world, but they're not willing to make decisions that are best for everyone involved. They're more concerned about themselves. And that's when the devil energy showed up, where you realize that instead of it being love, someone could have been indulging in love. And the Nine of Cups Pisces can also be where people have these fantasies and illusions and they love love. But when it really gets to growing up and maturing yourself and taking action to be more emotionally independent in the world, emotionally independent of your past, to move forward and bring the dream into reality, that's when they're like, nope, not doing that. Some people just don't want to become independent of their more worldly focused nature. It was all great as long as it was good for their ego, their image, whatever. But when it was for them to have to become more emotionally independent, be more bold and brave and confident, detached from the past, they were unwilling to do it. We have the Queen of Swords, the Two of Wands, the Sun card, the Queen of Cups, because of the Seven of Cups. And the Seven of Cups is like, you are harnessing this energy saying, I want to look to the future. I want to believe in our dreams. I have a dream of having a new beginning in love. And the other person was like, no, 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 no. I like to indulge in relationships. My dream is to have new beginnings in love, indulge in the relationship, is, indulge in my ego of it, the image, the status, all those things, the love. But when it really gets to be where I have to be more bold and brave and confident and authentic and loving, well, you could have found out there's someone who likes the idea of love, but not really where they get out of like the illusion phase of it. So you felt betrayed. The queens in tarot can talk about our emotional state, so it doesn't matter if you're male or female. The Queen of Swords is someone who is turning their back on some people because they feel betrayed. They thought a dream was going to come into reality, that people were going to be more open and honest and authentic and mutually loving. And that's when the person was like, I might have created a little bit of an illusion that I was willing to bring this dream into reality, but I'm actually maybe defensive to taking bold, brave, confident action in my life to be in authentically deep, emotionally connected relationships based on love. I'm kind of more driven a little, the masculine and tarot can mean a little bit more in our ego nature, and they kind of like to indulge in relationships and just create the illusion that they're willing to move forward, that they're willing to detach from old ways of being, but they could be quite codependent on people in their life, their friend group, their original family group, or their more egoic, self-centered way of being, and they don't want to detach from that. Or indulging in a loving relationship, but I'm really more driven more by money and materialism and status and image. It was great while it lasted, but if they saw someone else that they could go get in a relationship with who maybe also in their Leo energy is a little bit more motivated by their ego and the world and money and materialism and status and image, that's really what drives and motivates them. And they could have taken a foolish leap to go get in a relationship with someone like that. So there's some people that are motivated and inspired by love, and that's kind of the grounding principle for the decisions they make in their life. And other people are like, I could get hurt doing love. I like being in a relationship with you because you're very loving and giving and warm and bold and brave and creative and all those things. But I really don't want to do love. I'm more motivated by the world and the money and the indulgence or the ego. And when you wanted them to choose, because we've all got this dualistic nature, when it got to be where they had to see life in high vibe Aquarius energy and look at life from a higher perspective and see through the illusion of the world or their fear or their insecurity or their lust or their greed, that's when they turn their back because they're more inspired by the illusion and the dreams of the world or their more self-centered nature, and they're not willing to be more vulnerable and authentic and loving in the world. So let's go down here to the shadowy energy. Let's get a new deck so all the cards can come out. Tell us about the Fool. So if you had someone in your life, it can just be people who have lessons to learn in life, who might be immature, could be prideful, egotistical, self-centered, could be parents, adult children, siblings, friends, whoever. You know, you could just know some people that you're worried and have been stressed about because maybe they don't seem to love themselves. They don't seem to grow and mature themselves. They could seem, and we all can go through those phases and everybody's got to learn their lessons. And you could love them and it could put you in a lot of angst. But if your intuition is telling you that you have tried to be loving and encouraging to people, but they, in their free will, aren't willing to put in work and effort to maybe temper their pride and ego, temper their defensiveness, be just not motivated by that in life, your intuition is telling you to keep moving forward, believing in your dreams, keep having hope and faith and healing. You keep staying in high vibe energy, loving yourself, believing in yourself. We can love people, like I say, and not be in relationship with them, keep our distance from them, or, treat them with kindness and respect like we do everybody in the world, but protecting our dreams. And we're not maybe going to let someone who's more wanting you to indulge them in their ego in your future. It's like, no, you're going to be back here. I'm looking to the future, and my future is going to be loving, warm, authentic, giving people, not me indulging someone who's self-centered and egotistical and wants me to indulge them. People need to grow up. You're not someone's, even if you were somebody's mother, they're not 5 and 8 years old anymore. And people need to start disciplining themselves. So tell us about the Fool card. The Fool card is some people who want to keep repeating patterns of the past because there's things that they haven't realized yet that haven't come to the surface, and it could be things that they don't want to have come to the surface. They could hide the fact that they like to repeat these ways of being in relationship. Those are the type of relationships they want to be in, and they hide that from people. They create an illusion that I want to work with you to bring a dream into reality, but really it's just an illusion. And the whole point, again, I think of us getting in those relationships is for us to get clear about what our truth is. We can have love for people. We can be passionate about people. We could really want to be in relationship with them. Is that what we're willing to settle for? The Moon can be people who are secretive. They repeat these past patterns that could be bossy and controlling, could be addictions, or compulsions that they have that aren't good patterns to have in a relationship. But they don't want to deal with those issues. They like to just keep them buried, thinking like everything will be okay. But eventually, with the Sun card, eventually, you can kind of confuse and manipulate people with the Moon and the Seven of Cups for quite a while. Some people are really good at wearing a false mask. That they're just, that they're fair, that they're not prideful and egotistical and selfish and greedy and self-centered, that they have these addictions and compulsions that they don't want to deal with. And then it's illuminated. You can only hide the truth for so long, and eventually, because other people want a loving, balanced relationship, they start to if people keep doing things that make them feel defensive, that are hurtful, they're going to start focusing on loving and believing in themselves and educating themselves to wrap their brain around this love that they have and see the truth. They could have a different dream. Their dream is to be in a relationship where I indulge them like a mother would a child. And I'm not going to do that. I want to be in relationships with other people who make good decisions, who've worked through their fears and insecurities, who have learned to love and believe in themselves so they can be loving to other people, not people who are defensive to being loving to other people because, again, in their ego, they think it should be all about them. And maybe that's how they were treated growing up because the Six of Cups can talk about childhood and family. Maybe that's how they're used to working with people. They're used to being kind of immature and not having to grow and mature themselves and other people just indulging them. And you're like, well, then you got to go find someone else to repeat that pattern with you because that's not a pattern of relationship I want to be in. Tell us about the Nine of Wands or the Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands and the Two of Cups. The World. Eight of Cups. When other people love and believe in themselves, to grow and mature themselves, to love themselves, the Eight of Cups gives themselves a cup of love to move away from being in the Seven of Cups, being emotionally confused. Why am I in relationships with people who make me feel defensive, who make me feel like they're backstabbing and betraying me, who seem to be not putting in work and effort to be loving, who seem to be more of like an immature player, who seem to be defensive to being warm and giving or taking bold, creative, inspired action. Eventually people see the truth in the Queen of Swords and they see through the illusion because they chose to emotionally invest in loving themselves and not being an illusion. We either see the truth or we're in denial of the truth and wanting to be in denial of the truth. And the shadowy people are hoping you'll be caught up in the illusion, that you won't see that they are repeating these patterns of relationship with you. And when you see through the illusion and you love yourself and you're moving forward in your life, that's when they get defensive because they don't want to see through the illusion. They might not want to see through the illusion of their own ego and selfishness. They might have things. Why would somebody act so defensive to love? Why would somebody maybe have this negative energy about loving other people, trusting other people? Why are they so self-centered? Is that the type of people they grew up with? And so that's how they view life? Or did the people that they maybe grew up with or people that they had gotten in relationship with or just the shadowy energy in their own mind make them think they are entitled to live their life that way? Where they do create this illusion, then they do these foolish things thinking they can, and that it's like just and fair to try to emotionally manipulate people and confuse people and play on their fear or their insecurity or their love for them so that they can keep. It's kind of like trying to wear down someone's love and belief in themselves so that this person, it's kind of like, well, if you don't love and believe in yourself, then hey, I'm the devil. I'm here to I'll stay here trying to teach you to learn how to love and believe in yourself until you do. And if you never do, well, then I guess I get to indulge in a relationship with a loving person who's warm and giving and all those things, who doesn't love and believe in themselves to believe they deserve better. So I'll be happy in the relationship. You might be stressed out and anxious. You might get hurt by the immature, selfish, greedy things I do, the bossy, controlling, abusive things I do. But hey, if you're up for it, I think it's great. When people see through the illusion and they love themselves and they want the relationship to move forward in a more loving manner, that's when this person's like, no. I'm defensive to love. I'm fearful of love. I have things probably buried in my subconscious that have made me this way, maybe from childhood, things I don't want to admit because maybe I would have to admit some things about the very people in my life who I grew up with that I profess to love, and I don't want to admit that those people made me defensive to loving other people because maybe they were controlling and manipulative and prideful and egotistical and defensive and, squashed out this person's belief in themselves. But they're codependent on those people, just like they want to make you codependent on them. They probably have other people who manipulate and control them in their life that they're not willing to detach from, not willing to speak their truth to. They could have people in their life they need to become emotionally independent of, that emotionally confuse them, that cause them a lot of stress and anxiety. But the people in their life are like, oh, but we love you. Maybe a Scorpio, maybe a mother figure, maybe a Leo. And those people maybe have always been people who kind of manipulate and control them. And they're not willing to free themselves and become independent of those people. That's the confusion. That's what they don't want to face. And they can't move forward. They're going to keep wanting to repeat this pattern of relationship. They're kind of forced to, because you can't move forward until you see the truth, and they don't want to see the truth. Let's go ask why. Why do some people not want to see the truth about, it's either their own being emotionally invested in their ego and being defensive, or thinking they're this entitled person in the world, or it's other people in their life. Why don't they want to see the truth? Well, for one, they'd have to speak their truth and fight for the truth. And Knights can talk about fighting for something. Maybe they feel like when they were young, they tried to invest in some people to have a loving relationship, but the other people were in shadowy Nine of Cups, kind of indulging themselves in being kind of immature, and they were defensive to being in like just, fair, balance, inspiring people to love themselves, believe in themselves, be bold, be creative. And they tried to maybe over coddle them, and maybe were kind of egotistical and smothering. And this person kept trying to maybe invest in them, and the people in their life were defensive to them growing and maturing themselves. So now they're kind of repeating that same pattern. It's like, okay, well, I never was encouraged to grow and mature myself, maybe, or my ego never lets me grow and mature myself because my ego's running my life. And I'm defensive to speaking the truth that I had lessons to learn in life. And I'd also, if it is other people in their life, they don't want to speak the truth to those people. That I do want to start new. I do want to start fresh. I have a dream. My dream isn't the same as your dream. Because they could have people in their life that want them to live life like they live life. None of us take bold, brave, confident action. We're all defensive to being authentic and loving and being in deep, meaningful relationships. We use our sexuality to be in relationships because it gets us the things of the world. It gives us status and image and money and materialism. Why would you live your life authentically? None of us do. We all live a superficial life. We all get in relationships for status and image and money and have sex with people for those reasons. We're not bold and brave and confident. We don't let our authentic nature shine in the world. It's all about repeating this pattern of doing whatever the world tells us to do. We don't do love. We get hurt doing that. And sadly, some people don't want to admit that their own being more invested in their own ego and image controls them instead of their loving nature and or other people in their life. Basically, they were hoping you'd live in that hell with them, and some high vibe Capricorn said, I'm not doing it. I have decided I'm gonna have good boundaries within myself to stop myself from taking back action towards someone. I'm going to focus on love. I'm going to keep my mind focused on love. I'm going to make good decisions in my life out of love and respect and kindness and compassion for myself, that I deserve better than that. I deserve to be in relationships with other people who are willing to speak their emotional truth, who are willing to be bold and brave, who are willing to be open and warm and loving and giving and be in deep, meaningful relationships. Not people who want to be kind of like immature, bossy, controlling players, male or female, in a relationship. So, High Vibe Capricorn went within to gain insight and understanding, and High Vibe Capricorn spoke their truth to someone they loved. I am moving forward. If you want to stay back here and keep repeating these patterns and living more from your mind than your heart, being defensive, that's your free will choice. I'm speaking my truth, and my truth is I'm not going to be enslaved and imprisoned by the devil. I'm not going to let other people dictate my life. I'm not going to let, the devil can represent the world. I'm not going to make my life so much about conforming to the world or my ego or other people who think they got some damn right to control my life. Control my life. I'm going to go within to find out why I have some fears and insecurities about being bold and brave, and then I'm going to be bold and brave and do it. If you want to let your fears and insecurities stop you and you want to keep staying in this loop of hell over and over, letting those other people control and manipulate your life and tell you what you can and can't do in your mind, thinking that the world has some invisible way of telling you what you can and cannot do, it's all in your damn mind. And if it's people in your life, you should tell them to screw off. You have a right to live your life authentically, to love yourself, believe in yourself, go get the job you want to do, go to the college you want to go, be in a relationship with the people you want to be in a relationship with. You're not 8 years old anymore. You deserve to live your own life. What brings you joy and happiness? But if you want to let your fear and your insecurity and your pride and your ego and other people in your life run your life, I wish you peace. I am dropping the burden. We go from the 9 of Wands down to the 2 of Wands, letting go of the 7 of Wands. I don't want to feel defensive in the world anymore. The opposite of the devil is like the sun, life-giving energy. I'm free. I have freed myself from my more defensive nature of believing in myself and believing in my dreams. And I'm going to love myself, to walk away from the illusions and the fear and the insecurity, to go be the 9 of Cups, to look to the future, to believe in my dreams, to love myself, offer peace and love to everyone. You can live your life however you want, but I'm going to believe in myself and love myself. If you don't choose to do that and you're defensive to me because I choose to be loving and shine my light and not be restricted and confined and oppressed and limited and imprisoned by the world or my fear or my ego or by you, well, I'm not going to let it bother me. I'm going to be happy. And I guess if it bothers you and it makes you feel betrayed or makes you mad that I love and believe in myself, well, then it sounds like you're the one who has a problem. I choose love. Tell us about the devil. It's just nice to purge some of that energy every once in a while, like in tarot readings. The devil isn't showing its cards. But it has to do with the King of Pentacles, which is also Capricorn energy. And it can be all about the world, letting your ego, your worldly nature run your life. It's all about my image and my status and what I wear and how much money I have. That's what makes me valuable. Well, if you think that's what makes you valuable, then I guess that's what makes you valuable. I think it's if I'm warm and loving and giving and authentic. Not that I wear a false mask in the world, pretending to be a loving, stable, grounded person, but really I'm selfish and I'm greedy and I'm envious and I'm jealous and I'm vengeful and I'm in self-pity and I blame everyone else for why I don't have all the things that I have. Well, maybe if you were a little more authentic and loving, instead of trying to manipulate and control people, maybe things would work out differently for you. But what the devil isn't showing people is the 3 of Cups, which is They present themselves as like a loving family person, that they've grown and matured themselves. But what they don't want people to know is they harness shadowy Cancer energy. They use their emotions manipulatively in a relationship. And the people in their life who did harness high vibe Cancer energy have probably left their life. They moved on from them to love themselves. The other thing they don't want to show people, Nine of Pentacles. Their long-term goal in life is to maybe again not have to be responsible and make decisions that are best for everyone. They want to indulge in the world. And if they're single, then, because they have this image or they have this money or they have these looks or whatever they got that would make other people view them as being very successful and abundant in the world, they want to go indulge in other people in the world. So they present themselves as like somebody who would make a good marriage partner to someone, but they don't really want to be a marriage partner to anyone. They just want to go indulge in the world and present that facade to the world. So when the loving people wanted them to move forward and bring this dream into reality, it's like, I'd have to give up on my indulging in the world. And the other thing they don't want people to know is the loving people in their life who are independent in the world, who truly are grown and mature and loving people and are loving partners in the world, those people could have left their life because this person is bossy and controlling, self-centered, defensive, egotistical, immature, is manipulated by their shadow nature and probably manipulated by a lot of other people in their life who are trying to control them for their own purposes. I want you to be loyal to me. I don't want you to love and believe in yourself. I want you to let the loving people go in your life, because otherwise I can't manipulate and control you if you loved and believed in yourself. I don't want you to believe in yourself and believe in your dreams, because then I can't manipulate and control you and maybe try to get you to indulge me in the world with your looks, with your sex, with your money. I can't manipulate and control you for my own prideful, egotistical, competitive reasons. We've all got different, just like we have our dualistic nature, there's different people in the world who try to tempt us to align with either our more shadowy nature, trying to play on our fear, our insecurity, our lust, our greed, our pride, our ego, our immature, indulgent nature. And there's also people in the world, just that we meet even in general in the world, people who are loving and kind, who try to encourage other people, to have a positive outlook, to believe in themselves, to not let their fear, their insecurity, and their addictions run their life. And sadly, some people haven't won the spiritual battle within themselves. They're aligned with their shadowy nature. And other people are aligned with their high vibe nature. And then there's people that right now could be in the midst of it. Some of you are over here, you're already emotionally independent. You've seen through the illusion. You choose love. Other people have definitely chosen the shadowy path of life. They're defensive to going within, to gaining insight and wisdom. They are consumed by their ego running their life. And then there's people that are kind of in the in-between, that are just now, some of them standing up for themselves, defending themselves, who are letting go of people in their life who are trying to manipulate them. And they're taking bold, brave action to come up here. And they might want, just as you communicated to people in your life that you found to be loving and bold and brave and emotionally independent and loving, you communicated with them when you were moving forward, that I've learned lessons in life. I'm not the person I used to be. I've seen life from a higher perspective. And now you're speaking that truth to other people, trying to encourage other people to work through their fear and insecurity. As some of these other people come out of their shadowy ways of being or relationships, they're also maybe going to communicate with you. And those aren't the people that were the shadowy people in your life. The people that were shadowy in your life, that showed you all these shadowy things I already told you, You just hadn't seen the truth of who they were. You have now become illuminated to the truth of who they are. These other people that are moving forward in life and getting out of those same type of relationships like you did are the people who at their foundation level are loving. They were just also being manipulated by people in their life they needed to learn lessons from. Tell us about the King of Wands, the Justice card, the Star, the Three of Pentacles. The people that are in shadowy energy right now harness these energies in a shadowy way. Shadowy Libra, shadowy Aquarius, shadowy Capricorn. They're inspired by what they think is just and fair. And they think it's just and fair to either be all about themselves. Everybody's supposed to orient around them and make them the center of attention. Everyone else is supposed to put aside their pride and ego in relationships, but not them. And their dream is to look like a shining star in the world. But they don't believe they can manifest those things into reality. They think they have to work with what the world tells them to work with, which is like money and materialism. It's not like listening to their intuition, being bold and brave and loving. It's to try to find people they can get in relationship with who probably already have that status or that money or that image, and then they use their sexuality to get in relationships with those people to have that status and image, to look like, look at me, look how successful I am, look what a shining star I am. And if they can get in relationships with people who seem maybe very attractive, have money, have status, are loving, are warm, it really doesn't matter. It's like, what do you got? Oh, okay, yep. So long as the people they get in relationship with are willing to buy the illusion of who they are, as soon as people see through the illusion and they heal from their own, just do the work within themselves to move to the next phase of life, that's when this person will bail on them. The people right now who could be in some shadowy relationships harness these energies in a high vibe way, and they're deciding to be bold and brave and confident. They harness high vibe Aries, Libra, Aquarius, and Capricorn. They are taking bold, brave, inspired action within themselves to get themselves balanced, to do the work, because Capricorn energy talks about doing the work. They're doing the work to believe in their dreams, to get balanced within themselves, to work through once and for all. I don't want to keep dragging this baggage with me. I am going to work through my self-limiting beliefs, my defensive nature, my fear of being hurt again, of loving people, of loving myself. And I am going to let go of this lack mentality and kind of more putting in work and effort in my pride and ego and offering very little to myself and to others. And I'm going to stop that. And I'm going to choose to align with love and look at life as an adventure to be lived. And I'm going to see life from a higher perspective. I deserve to get my divine inheritance. I deserve to have my dreams come into reality. And it starts within me. I have to learn to love me. I have to learn to love my worldly nature, my shadow nature, so it can't manipulate me anymore. When my fears come up, when my self-doubt comes up, when, it's again being your own best mother, father, coach voice in your own head. Internalizing it within you so that within you, you are in life-giving energy. Everyone else in the world, I don't control. They can insult me, they can kick me to the curb, they can slander me, whatever the hell they want to do. The only person I control is me. And in my life and in my world, emotionally, I choose to be happy. I choose to love myself. I choose to work through my fears and my insecurities with love and compassion, like a mother would do to a child. To my own higher self is going to love me. I am the manager of my life, and I'm the only client I have. And I'm going to choose to be happy, to treat myself with love and compassion and kindness and respect. And I'm going to have a new beginning. And when I love and believe in myself, other people can't play on my fear, my insecurity, my codependency, my more immature, indulgent, lustful, prideful, greedy nature. Because I've loved that aspect within myself. And I love myself too much to run my life off into the ditch. I've probably done it enough times to have learned the lesson that it doesn't get me what I want. It just makes me feel left out in the cold. It causes me stress and anxiety. And I need to make better decisions in my life. I've learned to listen to my intuition. And if my intuition tells me, don't do that, I'm not doing it. So let's ask quick. Let's get another fresh deck here. What do people who are harnessing high vibe Capricorn energy, what do they not see coming in their future? Some of you might be speaking, yeah, just like you're communicating here. You could have communicated with one person as you were moving forward out of a relationship. That one maybe didn't kind of work out. Maybe that person could be in a relationship or something. They're not willing to move forward with you. So, even though that was sad, the Queen of Swords maybe, nothing, you've learned to not let anything hold you back. You're not going to let the devil stop you. It's just negative energy trying to block you. And you're like, get the hell out of my way. I don't care what happens. Oh, that person, no, it doesn't work out. Okay. It's really going with the flow. I have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. If somebody, the first person I communicate with, maybe I did work with them for a little bit. Maybe it didn't work out. Maybe they didn't want to move forward. Okay. The divine is wanting to bring our divine inheritance into reality. But if we keep getting hung up in negative energy because of all the things that negative energy tries to throw our way to get us in sadness and bitterness and whatever, we're not going to have it. We have to keep loving and believing in ourselves, just like life-giving energy keeps trying to encourage us. We live in a dualistic world. Negative energy, negative people are going to come on our path to try to throw us off our game. And we got to say, get out of my way. If you think in your ego that you are going to be in shadowy Aries energy and in Nine of Cups, like indulge yourself in a relationship with me, emotionally confusing me so I get emotionally invested in you and I give up on your dreams and get out of my way. If you're not harnessing high vibe Aries, high vibe Libra, high vibe Scorpio, high vibe Aquarius and Pisces, where you also have hope and faith and belief in your dreams, and it's not about indulging yourself in a relationship, it's about loving people, being authentic, letting your more vulnerable inner child nature come out to play, that's who you're looking for. And if people aren't that, then you're going to hold your sword up to them, and it's like, I wish you peace and love, but you're an illusion, and I'm no longer caught up in the illusions of Fantasyland. So, what do high vibe Capricorns not see coming in their life? Page of Swords, Six of Wands, Queen of Wands, because of the Three of Cups. Well, for one, the immature, prideful, egotistical, emotionally manipulative people, because they want to look like they're having a new beginning and that they've moved on and create this illusion in their life, they're probably going to go get in a relationship with someone else that they're trying to manipulate to make it look like, look at me, I've had a victory, whatever. And what you also don't see is you are going to have people communicating with you that they see that you are not someone who's like prideful and egotistical and manipulative, that you really are like truthful and honest and authentically loving, and they're going to tell you they want to move forward with you. What about the people in shadowy energy? What do they not see coming? Well, apparently they don't want us to see it, but let's flip it around and look. The Eight of Wands, the Eight of Pentacles, the Three of Cups, the Four of Pentacles, the Eight of Wands. I have two decks together, so that's why we have the two Eight of Wands here. And the Sun, because of the Leo Strength card. So, for one, what they don't see coming about you is, well, they might not know it because these cards weren't showing themselves. There might be, well, for one, you could be taking this bold, brave, creative action and putting in work and effort to love yourself, and that's why you're holding back from communicating with them and having a new beginning with them. They might be thinking that someone, they being in their pride and ego and thinking they're all that, they might be sitting here waiting for someone to make them an offer. Who wants to be in a relationship with me? I think I'm this shining star. People should want to work with me. I've been doing all these things to try to manipulate you and confuse you and, hurt you and, blah, blah, blah. I'm just waiting for my manipulation to work, and they're waiting for people to come make them an offer. Well, what they don't see coming is that the people who really do love and believe in themselves have put in work and effort to love themselves. And because of that, they're holding back from communicating with this prideful, egotistical person. And instead, what they might not know is you're communicating with other people who have also done this same work, who maybe also have shadowy people in their life that they're no longer moving forward with and communicating with because they're being bold and brave enough to believe in their dreams. And then what they also maybe don't see coming is that they might move forward, putting work and effort into a third party, but either that third party is going to hold back from them and move away from them because they see this person, again, is in pride and ego, because they don't ever go within to see the truth. They keep doing the same old thing when hoping they'll get a different result. But when you keep doing the same old thing, and you never gain any insight and wisdom about why the way you're going about it isn't working, that's like the definition of insanity, right? And they'll be left in their pride and ego again. Or they're going to get in a relationship with someone, but the reason that person might be willing to hold on to them in a relationship is either because they're selfish and greedy, harnessing shadowy Capricorn energy. They're more about ego and image and money and materialism, and they'll be willing to move forward with them because they're kind of motivated by the same things they are. But it's not going to be a person who's loving. If they get in a relationship with people who are loving, eventually the same thing's going to happen. Those people are going to hold back and move away from them. If they get in a relationship with someone who is willing to stay in a relationship, it's going to be someone just like themselves. And then they might find out what it's like to be in a relationship with someone like themselves. It's like, well, I'm used to people indulging me. Me too. Well, I'm used to kind of being selfish and greedy and not opening up. Me too. Well, I don't like to learn and grow. Me neither. Wow, this is great. And then we have two people who are trying to emotionally manipulate each other because they're both selfish and greedy and prideful and stubborn and egotistical and want things their way. But because neither one of them, they're probably both people who are doing things that if the other person were to leave, they know that they would backstab and betray them as much as they backstabbed and betrayed other people they left. So shit, it's kind of like they met their match. They're going to have to stay in an icky relationship maybe with that person. And it's going to be a little bit of hell. So there you go, Capricorn. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.